You know that moment, right? You're maybe in a coffee shop, or it could be a meeting, even just a video call. Someone asks you something, wants your opinion, and suddenly it feels like the world just stops. Your heart starts pounding like crazy, and your mind, which was perfectly clear a second ago in your own language, it just turns into fog.
Ah,
All those English words you work so hard to learn, vocab, grammar rules, everything, poof, gone. You just want to shrink, disappear, anything but speak and show. Well, show that you're struggling.
yeah, and that feeling, it's much deeper than just being shy. It's a specific kind of anxiety. You've got glossophobia, which is fear of public speaking, but then layered on top is xenoglossophobia, fear of speaking a foreign language.
Yeah.
And it's genuinely debilitating. It traps really smart, capable people in silence.
It's that paradox, isn't it? You have to speak English to get confident, but you need the confidence to speak English in the first place. It's a real cycle, keeps people stuck, closes doors. So, how do we even start tackling this?
Well, today we're not doing the usual just be confident advice because, honestly, that doesn't help. Think of this deep dive as a blueprint. We want to help you systematically take apart that fear and build real, lasting confidence from the inside out.
Okay, so the goal isn't zero fear, because that's probably unrealistic. It's more about understanding it, managing it, and kind of performing well despite it, turning panic into an opportunity.
Exactly. And to do that, first we have to understand the fear itself, the enemy within, so to speak. Before building confidence, you need to know why speaking English can feel so threatening. And the key insight here is that it's less about your language skills and more about basic human psychology. Your brain's just doing its job, trying to protect you.
That's interesting. So it's not just, I don't know enough words, what's actually happening physiologically when we freeze up?
It really boils down to the science of social threat. Your brain has this ancient alarm system, the amygdala. And the thing is, it can't really tell the difference between a real physical danger, like, a predator back in the day, and a social danger, like the fear of being judged or misunderstood when speaking English. To the amygdala, they feel equally risky. So it triggers the fight or flight response. You get the adrenaline, cortisol, the racing heart, sweaty palms, shallow breathing, all that stuff.
Okay, the classic physical symptoms of panic.
Precisely. But here's the crucial bit for language learners. Blood gets diverted away from your prefrontal cortex. That's the part you need for logic, reasoning, and importantly, producing language. Blood goes to your muscles instead, prepping you to fight or run. So your brain goes into this cognitive freeze. Your mind blanks, not because you don't know the English, but because your brain's hit the emergency shutdown button.
Wow. So it's a physical hijack, essentially, not a personal failing. That's actually quite reassuring in a way. So how do we start, like, rewiring that? How do we tell the brain it's just ordering coffee, not a tiger?
That's the core mission, right? To retrain that response. Recognize it's a powerful physiological reaction, not weakness. And the first step in retraining is to pinpoint what specific social dangers your brain thinks it's facing. For English learners, it usually comes down to three main anxieties.
Okay, let's break those down. The first one feels very familiar.
Absolutely. Number one is the fear of judgment, the all sounds stupid fear. It's this core belief that whoever's listening is just waiting to catch your mistakes. Like every sentence is a test. Your inner voice is probably going, wrong intense, did I pronounce that right? They'll think I'm dumb, my accent's terrible. And the result, you stick to really short, simple sentences, or maybe you just don't speak at all.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that. Okay, what's the second one?
Second is the fear of misunderstanding, the communication breakdown fear. This is more about the practical worry that the conversation just won't work. You're afraid you can't get your point across clearly or you won't understand them, and it'll all dissolve into awkwardness. You might be thinking, what if they don't get me? What if I don't understand their question? I'll have to ask them to repeat 5 times. Ugh. So what happens? You might avoid asking questions or just nod along even if you're lost, missing the whole point of a two-way conversation.
It's funny, sometimes people over-prepare trying to be so clear, and it actually sounds less natural.
Right, kills the spontaneity. Okay, and the third one is a bit more subtle. It's the fear of identity threat, the this isn't me fear. This often hits people who are actually very articulate and maybe witty or charming in their native language. They feel like their English self is just a flat, boring, simplified version of who they really are. The internal monologue is like, I can't tell jokes, I can't be clever, I sound like a child, this isn't me. He,
Hmm.
and that leads to avoiding social situations, not because of grammar, but because it feels inauthentic, frustrating.
That identity one sounds particularly tough, especially for people used to expressing themselves well. How do you even realize that's the specific fear holding you back?
It often creeps up on you. You might notice you're avoiding networking events or passing up chances to speak in meetings, even when you know the topic. It's not about lacking words, it's about feeling like you can't project your personality. It's a deeper block. And this 5-step method we're outlining today, it's designed to tackle all 3 of these fears, kind of from the roots up.
Okay, and you mentioned it's not just the sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, not really. Think of them more like 5 pillars you build up together. They all support each other. Building one helps strengthen the others, creating this sort of upward spiral of confidence.
Got it. So what are the 5 pillars again?
Okay, pillar 1, the mindset reset, from perfectionist to communicator. Pillar 2, the controlled environment, building a private practice field. Pillar 3, the scaffolding strategy, structuring for success in low-stakes conversations. Pillar 4, the exposure gauntlet, deliberately seeking discomfort. And Pillar 5, the performance polish, mastering body language and vocal tone.
All right, let's dive into the first one then, the mindset reset. How does that work?
This is really foundational. The root of so much fear is aiming for perfect English,
Hmm.
which is impossible, right? So the absolute first step is to consciously abandon that goal. Perfection is out. Your new goal, connection. Your aim is simply to connect with someone, to exchange a message, not a flawless performance.
That immediately feels lighter, takes the pressure off, shifting the goal from impossible to achievable.
Exactly. Perfectionism sets you up for failure because it's all or nothing. Perfect or failure. Since perfect isn't happening, you constantly feel like you're failing, which just feeds the fear. But if your goal is connection, well, any understanding, any little bit of rapport, that's a success, even with mistakes. It creates a whole spectrum of winning.
Okay, makes sense conceptually, but how do we actually do that day to day?
First technique, define your why before you speak. Seriously, before any interaction, just take 5 seconds. Ask yourself, what's my real goal here? Day. Ordering coffee, goal, get coffee. Team meeting, goal, share my update. Party, goal, learn something about someone. The goal is never use perfect grammar. Grammar is just a tool to get the coffee, share the update, make the connection. If you get your latte, even if you messed up a preposition, goal achieved, 100%. That's a win.
I like that. Very practical, reframes the whole interaction.
And building on that, try to embrace the communicator's mantra. Pick a short phrase, repeat it in your head. Something like, connection, not perfection. Or, they're listening to my message, not my mistakes. Maybe, done is better than perfect. Or even, my accent shows I'm brave. Sounds simple, but it really helps interrupt that negative self-talk.
Yeah, replacing the inner critic's voice, that makes sense. Especially because we're usually way harder on ourselves than anyone else is.
Totally. Which leads to the next point. Reframe your listener as an ally, not a judge. Your fear often paints the listener as hostile, just waiting to pounce. But 99% of the time, people just want to understand you. Think of them as your teammate in the conversation. Your shared goal is understanding. They're actively trying to figure out what you mean, filling in the gaps. Think about how you listen when someone's learning your language. You're probably patient, encouraging, right? Assume they are too.
That's a good point. And there's an exercise for this too, right? Something about celebrating mistakes.
Yes. The mistake celebration log. And get this. Even native speakers make grammar errors all the time in natural speech. Maybe 5-10 every 100 words or so. It's normal. So this exercise uses that. End of the day, write down one mistake you made speaking English. Just one. Then, crucially, write down what happened next. Which is almost always nothing bad, like mistake. Said, I have been to the store yesterday. Outcome, colleague understood, conversation moved on, world didn't end. Doing this gives your brain solid proof, again and again, that mistakes aren't catastrophes. They're minor, harmless, part of learning.
So you're actively building evidence against the fear.
Precisely. You're changing the rules of the game in your head. From perfection to connection. Every connection counts as a win.
Okay, so mindset is step 1, getting your head right. Where do we go from there to actually start speaking without jumping straight into terrifying situations?
Right. That brings us to step 2. The controlled environment, building a private practice field. The idea is simple. You don't learn to swim in a hurricane. You start in a calm pool, maybe the shallow end. Same with speaking. You need to build basic muscle memory and fluency somewhere safe, with zero judgment, alone.
So it's about making the act of speaking English less scary, more automatic, taking some of the mental load off.
Exactly. You practice the physical mechanics when you're relaxed, alone. It desensitizes you. You're basically automating that thought-to-sound pathway. This frees up brain power, your cognitive resources, so when you're in a real conversation, you can focus on the message, not just forming the words.
Makes sense. What are some practical ways to build this private practice field?
Okay, first one, possibly the most powerful. The self-talk engine. Start narrating your everyday life out loud, in English, to yourself. like you're the main character in a documentary. Cooking. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Careful with a knife. Next, heat the pan. Maybe add some garlic. Getting dressed. I think I'll wear the blue shirt today. It looks good with these pants. Where are my socks? Ah, drawer. This is huge because you're generating spontaneous contextual English with zero pressure. Mistakes? Fine. Correct yourself. Keep going. You're thinking and speaking in English.
I have to admit, the idea of talking to myself out loud feels a bit weird at first.
It does, but you do it when no one's around, and it's incredibly effective.
Right.
Then there's the read aloud gymnasium. Grab anything, an English news article, blog, book page, read it out loud for, say, 5–10 minutes daily. Think of it as a workout for your mouth muscles. Tongue, lips, jaw, getting used to making English sounds and rhythms. It just makes the physical act of speaking English feel more familiar. Bridges the gap between seeing words and saying them.
Okay, like vocal warm-ups. What about something more advanced for flow and rhythm?
Yeah, that would be the shadowing studio. This is great for intonation and natural cadence. Find a short audio clip, 1–2 minutes maybe. Native speaker, someone whose voice you like, TED Talk, podcast bit. Listen once for meaning, then play it again, and try to speak at the exact same time as the speaker, like their shadow. Don't wait for pauses. Mimic their speed, pitch, rhythm, everything, as closely as you can. This kind of bypasses your thinking brain. Connects ears straight to mouth. You're focusing on the music of English, not grammar.
Interesting, imitating the sound directly.
And one more, the Voice Journal Vault. Simple but powerful. Grab your phone, open the voice memo app, talk freely for 60 seconds about anything, your day, an opinion, whatever. The only rule is don't stop talking. If you get stuck, just say, and keep going. Push through. Do this daily for a week, then listen back to day 1, then day 7. The progress in fluency just in a week is usually amazing. It gives you tangible proof you're improving, which is a huge confidence boost itself.
So this private practice space, it's your safe zone. Building the basic mechanics so you're not starting cold in the real world.
Exactly. And once you've got that engine warming up privately, you're ready for step 3. The scaffolding strategy, structuring for success in low-stakes conversations. The core idea. Don't walk into real conversations empty-handed. Bring prepared structures, linguistic scaffolds to support yourself. This reduces the mental effort needed in the moment and makes sure you actually have something ready to say.
And this tackles the anxiety by reducing the unknown, right? Anxiety hates uncertainty.
Precisely. The more unknowns, the higher the anxiety. Preparation with these scaffolds gives you a plan, tools, that lowers the perceived threat, helps keep that logical prefrontal cortex switched on. It stops you freezing up. And this is different from trying to memorize rigid scripts, which can sound unnatural. Scaffolds are more flexible.
Okay, so what kind of scaffolds are we talking about?
First up, the topic rehearsal. If you know a topic's coming, a specific meeting agenda, or just likely small talk at a party, what do? Take 5 minutes beforehand. Just mentally walk through a few key points. Okay, job talk, software developer, work on apps, interesting project with. You're not memorizing word for word. You're just activating the relevant vocabulary and ideas, priming your English brain.
Yeah, just getting the mental gears turning on that topic. That makes sense.
Then build your anchor phrase toolkit. These are your conversational lifelines. Memorized, all-purpose phrases for common spots, need clarification. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat it? Or, so if I understand right, you mean? Giving an opinion. Well, from my perspective, or I'm not sure, but kind of think. Disagreeing politely. That's interesting, but I see it a bit differently. Memorize these until they roll off the tongue. They're your safety net. Buys you thinking time while sounding composed.
Those are gold. Little phrases just keep the conversation flowing. And you mentioned questioning skills, too.
Absolutely. Master the art of the question. This is so underrated for confidence. Why? Because it shifts the burden of speaking to the other person. And guess what? People usually love talking about themselves. Asking good questions makes you seem interested, engaged, a great conversationalist, while you get more time to listen and process. Use open-ended questions. Not, do you like your job, but what's the most interesting thing about your job? And listen for keywords in their answer, then ask follow-up questions. Oh, you work in marketing. What kind of campaigns are you focused on now? Gives you breathing room.
Great tips. So where's the best place to practice using these scaffolds?
You need to find your low-stakes sparring partners. Practice where it doesn't feel high pressure. Language exchange apps, Tandem, HelloTalk are good. You're both learners, so it's naturally more forgiving. Or online tutors, places like italki, Preply, Cambly. You can literally hire someone just for conversation practice. You can tell them up front, my main goal is confidence, not perfect grammar. Please just let me talk. It's a dedicated safe space.
Okay, so with these scaffolds, you're going into conversations feeling more prepared, less uncertain. You've got a toolkit.
Exactly. which sets the stage for step 4. The exposure gauntlet, deliberately seeking discomfort. Now, this is where the rubber really meets the road. The core idea, you can't think your way out of this fear. You have to act your way out. It means intentionally, systematically putting yourself in those situations that scare you. Starting small, gradually increasing the difficulty.
Sounds like classic exposure therapy, which we know works well for anxiety.
It's a direct application, yeah. Your brain believes speaking English is dangerous. You need to prove it wrong with evidence. Every time you navigate a scary situation and survive, which you always do, you weaken that fear response. You're literally building new neural pathways for courage, strengthening the logical brain's control over the emotional brain.
Okay, so how do we structure this exposure so we don't just get overwhelmed and give up?
First step, create your fear hierarchy. Grab some paper. List all the English-speaking situations that make you anxious. Then rate each one. 1 is mildly uneasy, 10 is sheer terror. Maybe ordering coffee is a 1. Asking a shop assistant for help is a 3. Team meeting is a 7. Big presentation is a 10. This list becomes your personal roadmap.
And then you tackle it bit by bit.
Exactly. With the weekly courage challenge, each week, pick one task from the bottom of your hierarchy. The easiest ones first. Week 1, order coffee in English 3 times. Week 2, ask for help in a shop, even if you know where the thing is. And remember, success is doing the thing, not doing it perfectly. Got the coffee, even if you stammered. Success, 100%.
I like that definition of success. Takes the pressure off. What about that counterintuitive idea about mistakes?
Ah, yes. Adopt a mistake quota. This is a fantastic psychological trick. Instead of aiming for 0 mistakes, impossible, set a goal to make a certain number. Like, in this meeting, my target is to make at least 3 grammar mistakes.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but it flips the script. A mistake becomes a goal achieved, not a failure. It frees you up to speak more naturally, take more risks, and you'll quickly realize the world doesn't end when you make them.
That's brilliant, turning the fear on its head.
And after each challenge, do the post-challenge reflection protocol. Just 2 minutes. Ask yourself, 1, what was the situation? 2, what actually happened? 3, what did I learn? Journal it. Ask a colleague about weekend. He understood, smiled, told me about his hike. Pleasant chat. Learned. My accent's okay for small talk. Survived minor error. This locks in the learning, builds that bank of evidence proving the fear was overblown. Over time, your baseline anxiety just drops.
So you're systematically building proof that you can handle these situations. Okay, that covers the mindset, the practice, the strategy, the exposure. What's the final piece?
The final pillar is step 5. The performance Polish mastering body language and vocal tone. This is based on the idea that confidence isn't just internal, it's also external. How you hold yourself, how you sound it, feeds back into how you feel. It's called embodied cognition. Mind and body are linked in a loop. Slouch, you feel passive. Stand tall, you feel more powerful. Speak hesitantly, you reinforce fear. Speak clearly, you reinforce authority. So you control the physical performance to influence your emotional state.
So you can sort of act your way into feeling more confident, fake it till you make it, but based on science.
Kinda, yeah. But it's more about aligning your body with the state you want to achieve. Some concrete techniques. First, the pre-speaking power pose. Remember Amy Cuddy's research. Expansive poses boost confidence hormones. Before a stressful call or meeting, find a private spot, bathroom stall works great. Stand tall, hands on hips, chin up. Hold it for 2 minutes. Breathe deep. It signals to your brain, I'm confident. I belong here.
I always feel a bit silly doing that, but gotta admit, it does seem to help.
It really does. Then, during a conversation, master your stamp on the conversation. It's an acronym. S stance. Feet grounded. No nervous fidgeting. Sit or stand solidly. T-tone. Vary your voice. Don't be monotone. Use pitch and volume for emphasis. Emotion. Practice this. A. Arms. Open gestures. Uncrossed arms signal openness. Use your hands naturally to explain things. M. Movement. Purposeful, not nervous pacing. If you move, move with intent. P. Pace. This one's huge. Slow. Down. Nervous people rush. Confident people aren't afraid of pauses. A measured pace gives weight to your words and time for your brain.
Slowing down seems key. Gives you thinking time, too.
Definitely. And treat your voice like an instrument. Do the vocal warm-up. Before speaking, hum a bit. Gets the vocal cords ready. Try a tongue twister like red leather, yellow leather. Good for articulation. Just gets the mechanics warmed up.
Okay, and eye contact. That can be tricky in groups.
Yes, use the eye contact triangle. Don't stare fixedly at one person or dart your eyes around. Instead, make eye contact with person A for a complete thought, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. Then shift to person B for the next thought. Then person C. It makes you look connected to everyone, engaged and confident. and it breaks down the interaction into manageable chunks.
Right, so mastering these physical aspects completes the loop. Mindset helps performance. Performance reinforces mindset.
Exactly. And the big takeaway from all this is that the fear of speaking English, it's not a life sentence. It's not about your intelligence or your worth. It's a very human reaction to what feels like a social threat.
Yeah.
But, and this is the crucial part, it's a reaction you absolutely have the power to change.
And this 5-step method, mindset reset, controlled environments, scaffolding, exposure, performance polish, it's the blueprint for making that change. It starts with shifting your goal from perfection to connection. Builds skills safely, gives you tools for real conversations, pushes you to face the fear, and polishes the delivery.
And it reframes what confidence even is. It's not some magic quality you're born with. It's not being fearless. True confidence is a practice, a skill you build, one conversation at a time. It's having the courage to speak even when your heart's pounding. It's knowing a mistake doesn't define you.
It's understanding that your voice, your unique accent, the occasional stumble, that's not weakness. It's actually proof of your effort, your bravery, your desire to connect. So the final thought for you listening is, just take that first step. The one that feels just slightly scary. Order the coffee. Ask the question. Share the idea. Seriously. The world actually wants to hear what you have to say.